Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, and Wuthering Waves bring beautiful worlds, great cutscenes, and good gameplay. But if you want a gacha game that actually tells a good story with real characters and emotional weight, it's Goddess of Victory Nikke. I've played all these games, I've followed the stories, and today I'm going to explain why Nikke's narrative is not only better, but in some ways it completely outclasses the others. One of the strongest things Nikke does from the start is it sticks with a core cast. Rappy, Anise, and Neon. They are not swapped out every update. You're not being introduced to a new main character every patch just because they're on a banner. This allows for a long-term character development. You see that relationships evolve over time, they fight, they make mistakes, they forgive. It feels earned because the characters have actual story together and you're there for all of it. Compare that to Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, and Wuthering Waves that constantly rotate character focus to align with the gacha banners. A new character drops and suddenly the entire story revolves around them for one patch. Then they vanish from the narrative spotlight. With Nikke, the main cast is always on focus. Let's be clear, Genshin's main quests don't disappear, they are still playable. But the issue is that the focus constantly shifts to whoever is on the banner. There's little narrative continuity. The story itself has, and the lore too, but not the characters. Once a patch ends, the spotlight moves to someone else. Honkai Star Rail is a bit better. It has a semi-consistent cast with Himiko, Welt, Mars, Danhang, but even then, updates tend to put a ton of energy into newly released characters, while pushing others to the background. Wuthering Waves suffers from this too. It's just less obvious because they tend to go a bit more in depth on the characters. But it still introduces new characters tied to each region or update, and the focus keeps shifting. There's no guarantee old characters will return or keep growing. This rotating banner focused structure destroys any long-term attachment to a character. It's hard to get invested when every update a new character is in the spotlight. In contrast, Nikke builds its narrative around a consistent squad. Their journey continues every chapter. Nikke's characters behave like actual people. They are messy, they're emotional, they make mistakes and lash out. Happy can be cold, Anise can be rude, and Neon is on copian about firepower. And they don't always agree. They fight with each other, they challenge each other, and when someone crosses the line, they are called out for it. There are scenes where they literally scream at each other or even physically lash out in anger or grief. That level of raw emotional expression is almost unheard of in any other gacha game. In Genshin, Star Rail, or wuwa, you almost never see the protagonists or companions truly lose it. There's no yelling, no curses, no confrontation. Everyone stays polite, quirky. Even when tragedy happens, it feels toned down. Nikke lets its characters be ugly when they need to, and that's what makes them believable. Nikke doesn't pull its punches with antagonists. The villains are twisted, dangerous, and horrifying. They're not just misunderstood. You are meant to hate them. And to understand, that they are to be neutralized on the first opportunity. And even when they do get redeemed in some last minute twist, it comes with a lot of consequences, like complete memory wipes that completely changes the character in question. Meanwhile, Genshin and Star Rail often struggle here. Most villains are either completely redeemed later with no consequences, killed off before they leave real impact, or written with so many layers and veils that don't really show the atrocities they commit that you don't feel the emotional punch of their actions. Nikke keeps its villains relevant. They return. They leave scars. Their presence shapes the world and pushes the main cast to change. Most gacha games build their story around their banners. A character drops, a quest to promote them usually comes along, it's a business after all. They have to sell the character somehow. But once they're done selling, that character fades from the plot. Other games write side content that, even though it adds to the lore, it barely matters to the main plot. Nikke's side stories actually matter. Characters change because of what happened on events and side stories. Their relationships shift. You see lasting impact. In Genshin, you can skip 5 patches and the characters still act the same. In Nikke, if you skip 5 chapters, you'll be lost because everyone will be acting differently. As for Wuthering Waves, solid first impressions, but similar issues. Wuthering Waves made a strong first impression with its main story mostly and especially after the Black Shores release and Renazita release. It feels a little bit more focused and emotional than Genshin or HSR most of the time. But let's be honest, it's already falling into the rotating cast trap. Characters come and go, and future updates will likely focus on new banner units. There's no guarantee the emotional core of the first characters will carry forward. It's still early, but the risk is real. Also, while wuwa gives you more lore and backstory, its characters don't express the same interpersonal emotion you get in Nikke. Nobody's slapping their friend mid-sentence because they were going to do or say something very stupid. No one is calling each other out for bad decisions. Honkai Star Rail does a better job than Genshin in terms of a fixed core cast. March, Danheng, etc. are with you a lot of the time. But even then, they rarely show deep emotional range. You will get well written lore, though I can't say the same for the dialogue. But there's no yelling, no meltdowns, no serious interpersonal fallout. Somehow Nikke does a better job at showing expressions and movements while being a fucking visual novel. Nikke characters will yell at their superior officers. They'll snap at each other. They'll put their friend in their place because the stakes demand it. Star Rail and Genshin play it too safe emotionally. Nikke's story isn't just good for a gacha. It's just good. Nikke doesn't treat its story like a way to sell characters. It's the pillar of the game. It has to deliver. It's not just a tragic backstories or quirky personalities. It's people growing through war, trauma, friendships, and failure. Look, Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, and Wuthering Waves all have their strengths. Behind all the bloated dialogue and pacing issues, mainly in Genshin and Honkai, there's actually a lot of great stuff, rich lore, and impressive world building. These games are not bad by any means in terms of story, but Nikke just does it better. It delivers an emotional story with real weight and builds characters' relationships that feel earned and, most importantly, feel human. The others are great, but Nikke is just greater. And that's why, in my humble but 100% correct opinion, Nikke has a better story than the big four right now. Nikke doesn't pull it spont. Nikke does.